Tantum ergo sacramentum veneremur Charmeine et antiquum documentum novo cedere tui prestet vide supplementum sensum defectui.
The Eucharistic miracle in Legnica. On the 25th of December 2013, in the Eucharistic Church in Legnica, a consecrated host fell on the floor accidentally during the distribution of communion. It was picked and placed in a container with water to dissolve it. But after some time, rather than dissolving, it turned red. The local bishop at the time, Bishop Stephen Sishi, commissioned a scientific study of the host. In February 2014, a tiny red fragment of the host was separated and put on a corporal. The commission ordered that sample be taken in order to conduct thorough forensic test by 2 university medical departments. In a detailed histopathological research conducted under a microscope, it was determined that the fragments of tissue that were found contained the fragmented parts of the cross-striated muscle, which is more similar to the heart muscle, with alterations that often appear during the agony. That means it had signs of distress. This would be similar to the findings of the Eucharistic miracle in Lanciano, Italy, and the other Eucharistic miracles reported around the world. The genetic research indicated the human origin of the tissue. The Vatican Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith approved veneration of the miraculous host in Legnica in 2016. But the Church continues to monitor studies and examine whether the alleged miracle will bear spiritual fruit. The Bishop of Legnica announced the results to all the parishes on April 17, 2016. The host, in a special monstrance, is exposed in the Eucharistic Church, better known as St. Hyacinth's Church in Legnica. Father Andres Ziombra is the parish priest of this church. He says that my task is to gather information about the miraculous healings, conversions, or issues related to the pilgrimage movement. And it is already visible that there are many miraculous healings and a large pilgrimage movement. All this documentation is to be presented to the Holy See again later, which will contribute to the final statement on the whole event in Legnica, he said. The parish priest has been surprised at the number of people who have already come to his town in southwest Poland, near the German and siege border, to venerate the host, which is displayed in a reliquary at St. Hyacinth. Father Ziombra said that people from all over the world have been making their pilgrimage to Legnica before the coronavirus pandemic impeded travel. For him, it was a kind of an absolute surprise. Because, for example, there were pilgrimages from countries in Far East Asia or even from North America. From such countries, people had to travel many thousands of kilometers to this place. All this is also a signal that God sent this impulse to the whole world, so that the world would meditate on the Eucharistic miracle in Legnica and question themselves, what is God going to tell me through this sign? However, for Father Ziombra, one of the most touching conversions came from close to his home. There was a man in his community who he said had been hostile to the church all his life and even fought against it. In an unexplained, extraordinary way, he was converted. God converted him. That for a few days he did not know what was happening to him at all. He did not understand his inner state. After 50 years, he went to his first Holy Confession and then the first Holy Communion. And indeed, he radically changed his life, his attitude to God, and he became a very ardent believer. Father Ziombra said that he has documented other similar sudden conversions in the lives of people who prayed at Legnica and would pass this information to the Vatican. He noted that his own vocation as a priest has been deeply touched by this unexpected event that occurred within his parish. To conclude, on Christmas Day in 2013, during the Holy Mass, this verse was part of the Gospel reading. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. John 1:14. What is Jesus trying to tell us? Jesus is trying to tell us that he lives his signature in every Eucharistic host. He wants us to have a deeper understanding and accept this special gift that is his body and blood with more dignity and reverence. The results of the scientific test tell us that the heart muscle is in agony. We should ask ourselves, why did he decide to give us the sign of his presence this way? It is because he wants to tell us that he suffers. We are called to penance, to make amends for Catholics who are lukewarm, and for others to reach out to the mercy of God who prefer to live apart from him. Today, we are called to pay a special attention to this miracle and to share it with others.